Still trying to throw the ball. On first and goal, second and goal. Panicking at third. Fourth, I'm wishing for a muff.
Welcome to the 510 Huddle. We back again. Only one game left in the season. How you doing today, D-Lane?
Feeling great, man. First day in spring ball today up at Laney. So I'm gonna get up there and go see my guys after the pod, man. And one football game left, man. Yeah, I'm ready to get to it. The big one.
Oh yeah, biggest of them all, the big dance. But let's recap last week real quick. And everyone knows this was a big topic, a big game for us. Packers Bucs. So let's get straight to it. Why did Packers lose, D-Lane?
Whew. Why did the Packers lose? Okay. First off, I mean, it's so many little sub storylines in this story. Let me attack one and shoot it back to you. How did you feel on LaFleur's call at the end of the game to go for the 3 instead of the 2? Because I think I have a different opinion than most people out there. How did you feel at that on that decision call?
I thought it didn't make any sense at all, and I think there's a stat that backed it. Like only one coach the last 30 years elected a field goal down 8 under 3 minutes. So to me, him thinking his team was going to go 3 and out and get a stop, and then I didn't like the decision at all. And I'll let you continue. But I didn't think it was a good choice. I think you had
to. I see it as 50-50, you know, and mainly, and I don't understand the argument people are making as far as why did you elect to not go for it if you had to score a touchdown either way it goes. And I'm like, yeah, that's true, but are people not forgetting they were down 8? They weren't down 7, so they had to get the 2-point conversion. They just failed the 2-point conversion in the play before that when they tried to do the same play with Devontae that they did on Jalen Ramsey last year. They tried to sugarcoat it with something different. But they had just missed the 2-point conversion. Your quarterback just missed 3 straight throws. I'm just trying to put myself in the head coach shoes on the sidelines. Like, okay, we just missed a 2-point conversion. We just missed 3 straight throws. It's 4th and 8 or 4th and 11, something like that. It's not like it's 4th and 2 or 4th and 1. I think if it was 4th and 5 or lower, he for sure would have went for it. That's a different story. But no, just for all those reasons, man, that y'all just missed 3 straight throws. You missed the 2-point conversion. And you had basically 4 timeouts. It was 2 minutes and 12 seconds, and you had the 3 timeouts and the 2-minute warning. So LaFleur's probably going in thinking we got 4 timeouts here. We gotta get off the field, kick the field goal. We're down 5 now. We get 3 and out. Now all we need is a touchdown to win the game. Forget trying to get a 2-point conversion. You feel me? Or even score 7. We just need 6 to win the game here if we get the ball back. Secondly. So putting your defense in that situation, right? We always talk about coaches putting your players in their team in a good position, right, to do well. I feel like he actually put them in he trusted his defense. They just got like 3 turnovers in a row, damn near on Brady. So he's trusting his defense to go out there and make a play, and he's not putting them in a bad position because he's giving them the ball first down on 25-30 with 4 timeouts. I would think my defense would get a stop as well. You know what happens in that situation that he just put his defense in? His defense on the very first play of that drive did the one thing you cannot do in that situations, eh? Do you remember what they did on that first play? When Brady got the ball back to start the second half?
They gave him 9 yards on the first play.
So the championship games. Yes, Ms. Whitner. Yes, man. Have a good day. No, where I was at, say my bad coworker walked in. She was like, "What game are you talking about?"
You was asking me about what happened on the first play.
Oh, yeah, the first play when Brady gets the ball back to start that 2-minute to kill the clock. You remember what happened?
They got 9 yards.
They got 9. Hey, that was literally the worst thing the defense could have did in that situation. I think it was on Kev, and I was like, damn, Kev was really better off giving them the first down there. You was really better off giving him the first down right there. They literally, so all I'm saying is he trusts his defense and put him in, I think, a favorable position or a solid position. He didn't put him in a position to lose, I feel like. And your defense literally did the one thing they couldn't do in that situation was give up 9. You was really literally better off giving up 10. I mean, the full 10 yards. So that was my feeling on that call.
I see I definitely see your point. I think you're coming from a defensive, like playing smart football, but aggressiveness wins. And I'm gonna point to key moments in the game where Bruce Arians, with 12 seconds left, went for it on fourth down, right? And the Packers could have easily got the ball back and got a field goal range with I think a timeout left, right? And what happened? Scotty Miller scored a touchdown on that play on fourth down, right? Excuse me. The play before it was fourth down. They got the
For the
first.
half. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
first
10 and
play.
a half.
That touchdown's what got them the lead. If Bruce Arians was not aggressive and just, you know what, play safe, we're gonna punt the ball and just take what we got. They're not in a position to win, right? And secondly, you have the MVP of the league. LaFleur, you have the MVP of the league, and you're telling me that you're not going to go for 5 yards out from the end zone? That's it to win. This isn't. You're trying to win the game to go to the Super Bowl. This isn't week 14, week 13. You're playing to win. So what LaFleur said is, I trust my defense over Aaron Rodgers. That's what he said. And not only that, he said, you know what? I trust that Tom Brady in a position to just get one first down and win the game and go to the Super Bowl. You know what? Tom's not going to get it done. I don't think Tom can do that. That's what LaFleur said. And you got proven wrong. And you're putting the game on your defense. And the critical moments of the game when your defense came through in big moments before the half, right? Early in the game. At that moment, I don't see your defense then step up. If your defense gave up 31 points, I'm not relying shit on my defense.
So
If
I'm
this is
saying,
like a
Zay, so I'm more so just trying to put myself, because I think if we did a poll of the 32 coaches right now in the NFL, I think it would be more so like a 60-40 that a lot of coaches would do what LaFleur did. It's only a handful of aggressive coaches. We know we can name Andy off rip. You know Andy's going for it there in that situation. But I'm saying if you're the head coach, Zay, and you're on that sideline right now with everything that you just said, factoring in you got the MVP, everything. Now take this into evidence, and are you not doing the same thing? We literally just missed 3 straight passes in a row. We missed the last 2-point conversion. They don't need 7, they need 8, Zay, to tie the game. What are you doing now in that situation with all that evidence? And your defense just got 3 straight stops. Turnovers, not stops. They got 3 straight turnovers.
I understand how you're looking at it, but you also have to look at it like this. LaFleur, you just said by kicking the field goal, we're going to get a stop when Tom just needs first to go to the fucking Super Bowl. So you're telling me the greatest quarterback of all time is not going to get one first down to go to the Super Bowl. You're putting on your defense. This isn't Legion of Boom. This isn't a top defense. They already gave up 31 points. I see. They just got 3 straight stops. You're correct on that. You're correct. But they still have gave up 31 points in the game in total. The way the game's played out, I know they could get a big play because you know why? The Tampa's got a big play earlier in the game in moments when they had to. And that was a moment they had to. Those 3 straight stops that defense got, they didn't have to score. They didn't have to get the first down. I look at it as simple as this. You're telling me Brady's not going to get a first to go to the Super Bowl. That's what LaFleur said. He said, my defense is better than Brady because they got 3 stops straight. So it means in his head, we got a high chance of getting 4 straight stops against Brady. No, he took the game out of his quarterback's hand, and he was hoping and praying his defense could get a stop and come back on the field, needing a touchdown with no timeouts left.
Okay, so before we talk about why the main reasons why the Packers lost, I want to talk about one other call. Because like I say, he put his defense in that position, and he was almost right because they get that first down. They give up 9, and then they get the first down. They get them to a 3rd and 5 or 3rd and 4 with about 1:40 left. What happened? So now we got to talk about this play, Zay. How do you feel about the Kev King call, the last play? Really like the last play for Brady and them when he's tugging on the guy. How did you feel about that one?
I'll never forget a wide receiver coach when I went to Grandview University, and he always used to say where he likes when receivers wear a lot of shit because if you get grabbed on, it's easy to see. I think Johnson had the biggest shirt I've seen on. When your shirt is stretching that far out and then it gets grabbed twice with both hands, you have to call that. You have to call that. So to me, I understand when people saying they've been letting him play all game. You're correct, but we haven't seen someone's t-shirt get spread out for a yard. So it's the right call.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I damn near share those same feelings as you. I think I seen Croc say something similar as far as it was a bad call as far as because they've been letting them play all game. I can't argue with that at all. Like you
Wait,
look, I want to say, go ahead.
I just want to say what put on Croc. He was hilarious. He tweeted. He was like, "You can't call that." He was going off.
Yeah,
Then that second angle where they show at the side where you just see his shirt getting stretched hella far.
yeah,
He said,
facts.
"Oh no, that's PI. My fault."
Yeah. So as far as they've been letting them play all game, I definitely get that. I want to say it was Sean Murphy. He had a pick, I think, earlier in the game, first half or whatnot, and a lot of people was trying to refer back to that play. I was like, man, I'm a DB coach. What Sean Murphy did on his pick, that's what we
Savvy.
teach. That's what we teach. Like we're teaching, like you feel me. Get your arm placement on that high shoulder pad area where he had it at. You can do a little nip and tuck, like you can do a little bit, but don't extend and always stay inside the receiver's body. Murphy never extended. He stayed in, slipped, and got underneath and picked the ball up. I think that was clean. But I can also see how you might want to call it.
But what you
The Kev call, I just feel like, man, that shit was blatant. Like blatant. Like I understand, yeah, they've been letting them play. And I was cool even with the first pull. It was the second one, like you said, as far as when you see his jersey being tugged all the way like that, you just gotta call that, bro. Like I get it, it was kind of soft. And I feel like what also helped make the call was I feel like if the ball's on the money, I don't think they would have made the call because I don't think Kev would have had that much him pulling on the jersey would have had or shirt would have had that much separation. Like you would have never been able to see the shirt being tugged on like that. I think it was the fact that Brady actually overthrew it like that, and the receiver sold it, making it look like he was reaching out for the shit. That's what made his body extend more and make the pull look more egregious by Kev. I think that's what also made it worse. Like,
yeah,
yeah. I think it was definitely a PI just because at the end of the day, yeah, like I said, we could say they've been letting them play all day, but you can't deny that wasn't a hold. You feel me? That he didn't grab him. That's all.
and,
That's all I say.
and I like how you brought up the Murphy play. And I think I forgot I mentioned this. It wasn't Croc. It was someone in the one of the DB gurus we got on Twitter. But all the other plays, like when a DB is in position, there's not going to be a flag, and that was the game that it was played. If you're in position, if you're not getting flagged that game, right? And you brought up the Murphy play earlier in the game. He was in position. He could have had no hands at all. He was in position. You see what I'm saying? And so in that play with Kevin, he was not in position at all, right? And so if he was in position and on him, they wouldn't have called that. So I think that just shows like you're not getting rewarded for grabs if you're not in position. And again, it was a tough game. I mean, the Bucs have explosive offense, and they took advantage of that from on every part. So I think rough game for Kev, NFC Championship, but he should bounce back. He's young, got the athleticism. I think he might have been playing hurt, but yeah, he just looked a step slower that game. So, but I think he'll rebound.
Yeah, that my guy definitely rebound man. Been a dog, still a dog. But I want to get to my main point. Why I think the Packers just overall why they lost the game. I think at the end of the day, they lost the game because they didn't capitalize on turnovers. I feel like every one of the turnovers Brady got, they damn near were in range or put them in the plus territory. But even if they didn't, every turnover Brady and them got, they capitalized. I think they had 2 turnovers, 14 points. ARod has 3 turnovers with only 6 points. I feel like if ARod capitalizes on 2 of those 3 turnovers, they win the game. And I think if you look at the numbers, by far had a better game than Brady. If you watch the game, I think he played a better game than Brady from start to finish. I just don't think he played great in the moments when they needed him the most to play great. And those moments were really the last 2 turnovers. Maybe the first one you can keep playing, get by, get through it. But those last 2, your team really needed you to cash, ARod, and he didn't, man. And I'm frustrated. We all heard how I was rooting for ARod before this game. I think his GOAT discussion is definitely over. I don't care if he even rips off 3 in a row. It's the fact that Brady just beat you at your own home, at your own house. You've been begging for this 1 seed, this NFC game on the frozen tundra. You finally get it. And I know we just named a bunch of different excuses and different reasons why they lost and what factored in for LaFleur making that call and whatnot. The defense giving up 30 again in another playoff ARod loss. But at the end of the day, I'm having a hard time not also placing some of this blame on Aaron because, like I said, he just didn't come through in those biggest moments when his team needed him to come through the most.
I think you hit it spot on why the Packers lost, right? If you watch the whole game, the eye test and with the score box says, oh, Aaron Rodgers had a better game than Tom Brady. But in those moments, I think that's why Tom is the best and why he has the rings and goes has so much hardware. In the moments of the game, we all know football is made up of a few plays a game that make the outlook. Tom will come through, right? That third quarter, second drive out of half, he throws a pick, right? No, and when fourth down, you need a score. Tom is going to come through, and he showed that through the whole game. Before the half, late in the game, to get the first down to seal it, he does what he has to do. And Aaron Rodgers kind of did the opposite. They were 1 for 5 in the red zone. The 3 turnovers, they didn't get any points off those turnovers, and that's tough. And to me, that falls on the back of Aaron Rodgers because yes, you drove the ball earlier in the game, you had nice drives. But when it counts, when you need to take control of the game, the plays were not made. And I think I'm not going to put interception. Rodgers threw one pick in the playoff game. It happens. But to me, the changing point in the game is obviously LaFleur didn't go for the touchdown to tie the game up. Was on that third down play, he didn't run.
Yeah, I thought ARod had a chance. I thought he had
Right?
a chance at that corner for
And,
sure.
and he didn't run, right? And regardless, like we could argue all for today, would he have made it or not? All we know is he would have been closer and an easier fourth down choice for
Mhm,
LaFleur, right?
mhm.
And the second moment of the game, I won't forget, the play to Devontae Adams where they had to kick a field goal and he threw it out the back of the end zone. Devontae get his feet down. He had Lazard wide open underneath, wide open.
And it was a play like the possession before that last one on the fourth and go or fourth down when LaFleur called that the possession before that. ARod threw a touchdown. Like I said earlier, when I know I'm not trying to give ARod a lot of excuses, man. I'm still giving him some of the blame, but it was shit that factored into him losing. And I'll say again, if you watch that full game, they had you cannot deny the fact they dropped about 3 or 4 balls, and 2 of them at least was big, big, big balls that you needed to catch. That's why and I know one of them for sure is on the goal line. I think I want to say it was to Lazard, and it was a read RPO, and Lazard ducked his head, and ARod was like, "What the fuck?" Like, you feel me? Like, I don't even think Lazard was ready for that one. Excuse me, or he just thought the
And
pre
who
snap
was
look.
that? Who was
He
that
probably
on?
thought go. Who was that on? That's why I was about to say. I think the pre snap look to Lazard in the slot sitting right there. He's probably looking at the defensive lineman, probably saying, "Oh, he's instantly gonna hand this off." That's probably how he was looking at it. And ARod's like, "No, I'm throwing this bitch." You feel me? It was a
Yeah,
tight window, but it was definitely a window. And if he got his hand up and then,
yeah.
I think that was a catch.
No, I remember that play, and to me, that just goes back to the quarterback, right? Like I've never seen guys out of position with Tom. Yes, they drop balls. Actually, Tampa had more drop balls
So
than the Packers that game.
yeah, so
But
this is my only pushback on your last soliloquy right there is my only pushback on Brady is I feel like at the end of the day in this game, because I know over the course of his career, yes, Brady usually doesn't make mistakes in key moments, but he actually did make a few and a lot more than ARod in this game. He had like 3 picks and 2 straight, I believe, back to back possessions. I just think at the end of the day in this game, ARod lost it more than Brady won it. You feel me? That's all I think. That's how I feel in this game. At the end of the day, like if we're looking at it overall, I think ARod just didn't go and snatch that win. He lost it more than Brady came in there and just took over and won it.
no, I think that's the best way to sum it up, and it shows why. In some part, Aaron Rodgers has only went to one Super Bowl. I mean, same amount of NFC championships as Tom.
Man,
So,
we
all
can
right,
move on. I also just want to tip my hat to the Buccaneers defense as well because they're looking like how they were. What was that week 6 when people were saying maybe they might be the best defense in the league, and then
yeah.
they kind of spurred out the last few rest of the season. They're looking real right now. They're
And they were
flying,
missing guys.
yeah, yeah. They're flying around. And they're hidden, and they're playing. They're playing some real D over here right now, man. I can't even lie.
Yeah, I love how that DBs play aggressive, hit you in the mouth, good technique, attack the ball. I want those DBs on my team. So let's switch the time real quick, man, and just talking his legacy. What his legacy or his GOAT status change at all if he wins 7 Super Bowls, or is the legend just growing?
I believe if he wins, it's over. We already, for the most part, I think it's a little more over 50%. We think he's the GOAT. For the most part, we'll say all right. Already with 6, most people think he's the GOAT. We still got some old timers that like Joe, and I wouldn't even argue with Joe because I'm big on resume, especially on the biggest stage. I like that undefeated look, 4-0 from Joe Montana. So I won't argue with an old head if they say Joe. But for the most part, we'll say Brady's the GOAT right now. If he gets a 7th one, I think I think it's no comparison. Like you can't compare nobody else. That's hands down him. And I believe I don't believe 4 or 5 gets Pat past ARod. If Pat finished with 4 or 5 and Tom finished with 7. I think Pat got to get 6 to 7. I think Pat got to get to 6 to 7 to be honest to jump over. But I'll say this: if Pat was like 5-1. If I even take 5, but Pat gotta be like 5-1 or 5-0 for me to say, all right, you better than Brady, you the GOAT.
I think Pat. Yeah, Pat has a. I mean, yeah, he has a long way to go. I think if Brady went 7, it'll be a status that's just so hard to overcome. Like, and the reason I say that is I don't think we take enough count. He's 43 years old. 43. That by itself is like Drew Brees retired and looked a shell of himself. He's 42. When Peyton Manning got dragged to the Super Bowl in a walker, he was 38 years old, right? Big Ben, it looks like a shell of himself. He's 37. Philip just retired. He's 39. He couldn't throw at all. Brady's 43. That's what's crazy. And again, was he Brady on point? No. But he still threw 34 touchdowns, 11 picks in the season. Like, who would take that? The Niners would have took that this year over Jimmy. Yeah. The Niners would have took I know they're kicking themselves in the butt for not taking Brady over Jimmy this year. Because they could be right in this game right now with Brady. So I think his status just takes a jump where it's almost so hard to reach. And I understand the undefeated. But to be 7-3 in Super Bowls, to go to 10, that means 50% of the Super Bowls in your career you attended. 50% of Super Bowls you attended. And I mean, never
you know what adds to the legend as well? Because I still can't freaking wrap my head around this. Tom gets the first home Super Bowl. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy to me, bro.
Yeah, that's just piling on. And to me, we can't just talk about this. We know how many franchises it takes to get out the slump. Like the Raiders haven't been in the Super Bowl since 2002. The Bucs haven't been to the playoffs since 2006. 2006, and now they're in the Super Bowl. Only one thing changed, and I think someone dropped a stat that just showed the impact of Tom Brady. They added 3 players that weren't on the team last year. Fournette, a starting left tackle from the draft, and Antonio Brown, who came late in the season. This is the same team as last year that won 7 games with Jameis Winston. So I just think it's incredible the impact he has. I think he'll go to another stratosphere with 7. I think it's kind of like Jerry Rice, right? Jerry Rice, I think, is in a tier on his own as receivers because he has stats that just who can touch. Because think about it, to be as good as Tom's going to have the crazy amount of stats and everything, but they're going to have to play for so long. Remember, Jerry Rice had 1,000 yards at 39 years old, made a Pro Bowl. Right?
I actually disagree with that last point you said, Zach. A guy like Pat got action because Pat only sat 1 year. What Brady said, like a year, like 2-3 years, and then even when he did first get on the scene, those first 2 championships, he was still looked at he wasn't even looked at as the best quarterback in the league, even with 2 championships early in his career. It was still Peyton getting that nod because they thought Brady was just a game manager. You remember it wasn't until like 07 and beyond when Brady started putting up those same regular season type numbers as Peyton.
No, 100%. But remember, Brady he didn't sit long because Bledsoe got hurt his rookie year.
I don't know if that was his rookie year. Was that his rookie year when Brady played? When he came in for Bledsoe? I feel like that was his second or third year.
Second year, yep. I'm looking at it right now, second year. So in his second year, he became a starter. Bledsoe got hurt, and he led him to the Super Bowl.
Come on, like Pat had 50 touchdowns in his second year. I'm just saying, a guy like Pat for sure is already, I think, ahead of Brady at this point.
At this point, yes, he's ahead. But to me, I can't even get it. Like you got to get the hardware, and this is the one thing that Pat has to focus on. He has to be durable. That's the durable. And I'll say this: early in his career, and we know this, is Pat going to take his diet, his rehab, his recovery as serious as Tom, so he never misses? That's what I. That's what I'm
Yeah.
curious to see. I know.
I believe he will as he ages, as he gets older.
But
We might see a slimmer Pat because Pat got like that little fake baby fat. It looked
he
like.
needs. I think he needs that though. He needs that strong lower. But like I think I was watching the game. I was watching the game in the weekend. I said I want Pat to be a little heavy. Like I like the way he's at. I might even tell him to add another 5 because I want like he's 220, right? I want him to be. I mean, Russ is 230 and shorter than him. So to me, I want my quarterback to be durable. Like last year, he dislocated his knee. This year is turf toe, right? He's 25. Those things will start adding up. For me, if Pat is durable and takes his health as serious as Tom does, I'm not saying do the whole TB12. I think he can be the GOAT. But to me, it's the durability is what's so hard. Like we said, it's lucky, right? It takes luck in this. That's why it's so incredible what Tom has done because you have to be healthy to do this
Quick question.
whole thing.
Quick questions, hypothetical. Let's say they both ended their careers after this season, and Pat ends with two championships, and ARod ends his career with 1. Will we put Pat over ARod already?
I can't say. I mean, no, because of Pat. To me, you have some years. Like Bo Jackson had the greatest 3-year run for a running back. He's not the GOAT because he only played 4 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't. If you say right now, let's say this hypothetically.
All right, let's say if ARod ended his career right now with 1, and Mahomes finished off his career, break Brady and Breeze all their records, passing for hella yards, but he only gets 1 more Super Bowl, so he ends his career with 2.
Yes.
Then what about then?
Yeah, yes.
He's
Because
better.
I'm just thinking top of my head, the tiers, right? You got Tom Brady the GOAT, Joe Montana 2, and then I think that's like tier 1. Like that's just undeniable greatness quarterback play. I think you go tier 2. You got the 2-win quarterbacks, and Peyton Manning, John Elway, and then
Eli. I mean, they
I
under
would
those
not
guys.
Big Ben and Eli.
Yeah,
Those quarterbacks, you got 2 rings, but your MVP and your stats don't back that, so you don't go in that tier 2. I would put Aaron Rodgers in that tier 2 as well. It's just hard with 1 because to me tier 3 he'll go with the Steve Youngs, the Brett Favre's, because Brett Favre went to 2. Like think about it, Brett Favre has had a better Green Bay career than Aaron because he went to 2.
Yeah, I'll say ARod's talent puts him in that tier 2. You feel me? The 1 championship, it's a knock for sure, but the talent is so great.
And where does Dan Marino go? Because they say
Dan Marino for me will fall. I will if he had 1, I'll put him in that tier 2. He'll be just like Aaron, but I'm gonna have to put him in the tier 3 just because he didn't get 1. So I'll put him in tier 3 with I'll put him in there with the likes of Eli and Big Ben. He's clearly better than those guys, but they got rings. But I'll throw him in the same boat because his talent, I feel like, brings him up to the same cachet as those guys with their 2 rings. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I completely get what you said, but to me, it's more than the rings. It's like Aaron only has 3 All Pros. Like like to me, it's like how you been in the league 14 years with 3 All Pros.
Yeah, but shit, Brady. We gotta look at Brady. Ain't got hella. I mean, he got some, probably like 5 or 6. He been for 20 years, but you gotta think in this the best quarterback play in the NFL 102 3 years history has been really the last 20 years. Brady, you hear how we was talking about Breeze a week ago when he lost, and how what tier we was putting him in, and he's the all-time leader in yards and completions and touchdowns. And he's not even in that GOAT talk. So you know what I'm saying? He probably got like 1 or 2. All these quarterbacks that we just named probably got 1 or 2 All Pros because it kind of rotated. It was just so much talent. Phillip Rivers, Peyton Manning, like throughout this 20th century. You know what I'm saying, my guy?
I'm gonna read this to you just real quick, and so we just have a better outlook. So this is just the resume of Peyton Manning right here. 2-time Super Bowl champ, 5-time MVP, 2-time Offensive Player of the Year, 10-time All Pro, 14 Pro Bowl. That's
good. How many Pro Bowl? I mean, how many All Pros Brady got?
Now I'll read you Brady's. Oh, there we go.
Peyton did about 18 years, so 10. That's elite. That's like tier 1. That's what I'm saying. That's tier 1 right there. 10 All Pros in 18 years. That's 10-1. That's tier 1 for sure.
Yeah, the more I said, I think Peyton Manning goes in tier 1 with John.
Yeah, because you got to.
So look, this is Tom Brady real quick. So obviously 6-time Super Bowl champ. But this is what sticks out. So he's 6-time Super Bowl champ, 4-time Super Bowl MVP. He has 3 MVPs. He has 5 All Pros, 14-time Pro Bowler, and then he has just like stats to me that just separate him. Most wins ever by a quarterback. That's just regular season. Most games with 2 touchdowns passing. Longest streak of a
But
touchdown pass.
but yeah, don't gloss over what you just said though. 20 years, only 5 All Pros. That just shows what I was saying as far as the quarterback play in this era was elite. Like we gotta appreciate what we seen these last 20 years from these quarterbacks, man. You feel me? Like that. Like I said, 5 and 20 years, and we talking about the go here, but Peyton got 10 in 18 years.
Yeah, but
I'm just saying, I'm not taking nothing away from Brady. I'm just letting you know that just showed you his era, how dominant his era was in quarterback play.
And this is correct. This is so ARod 3-time All Pro, 2-time MVP, Super Bowl champ, 9-time Pro Bowler.
I mean, read Breeze for me. Breeze probably only got like 1 or 2, maybe 3 All Pros.
Actually, I think Drew got more because that's who. Because remember they NFC, so I think that's who was getting All Pros.
Yeah.
5 All Pros for Drew Brees. Yeah, 5, 2-time.
He put like 20 years in. I'm telling you, man, it's tough. That's tough.
No, it is. I'm just putting it out there. I think.
And we talked about it off the show just to end off with the Brady tip. We talked about it a little bit earlier, so I'll let you finish. As far as just luck, man, and that's another reason why he's the GOAT. I feel like in any Super Bowl championship across all sports playing fields, it requires a little luck. You know, I was telling somebody the other night, like I said, Brady's 6-3, he can easily be 0-9. Every one of his Super Bowls, and even them they're getting a trip to the Super Bowl, has required a lucky.
I don't want to say easily 0-9 because we said earlier Brady shows up in the moments you have to.
It does. I'm just saying, but it really can't easily be 0-9 because all 9 of his Super Bowls have came down to the last possessions. What I'm saying, Zay. And as far as lucky breaks, let's start. We can go all the way back to the beginning. Charles Wilson was just on All Smoke last week with the Tug Rule, the Start Day Dynasty. Then we can go to a couple years ago when they beat the Rams. How did that get to the Super Bowl? You remember they beat the Chiefs. How they beat the Chiefs? They wasn't even supposed to. They went to overtime, but they wasn't even supposed to go in overtime. Chiefs had to win overtime to get that falsy PI on Chris Jones to send the OT. That's one break for Brady. And then Brady gets 3. Hold on, let me just finish. Then Brady gets 3. That's a break. It wasn't supposed to go on OT.
It was the offside penalty, bro. It was the offside penalty on D4.
D4. Okay, well, I'm saying I'm just saying that's a break. That's a break right there. And then in overtime, you get 3 straight 3rd and longs that you get 1 incompletes, and then the other 2 is penalties that convert the 3rd long for him and puts him on the goal line. Like, it's just little shit like that throughout his career. 4 years ago, I think it was when they beat Jacksonville in the AFC Championship with Jalen Ramsey and them. They're up 20-10 going in the 4th quarter. And Brady gets a call on that last drive to get back in that game. I'm just saying it requires a lot of luck. I'm not taking nothing from him. That's how you know he's the GOAT, and it just seems like he has the most luck of all him and Jordan.
And I just want to say this: it's gonna seem that way. This is the only quarterback we can just bring up moments. Remember this Super Bowl. Remember this AFC Championship. Remember this AFC Championship. Remember this
because he's been there. He's been on that stage the most.
I mean, when you're always playing on the top stage, there's no other person we could refer to. Like, remember this big moment? Remember this?
But we can those. That's what I'm saying. As far as I'm saying, every championship is like that. I feel like every championship we could point to a break for somebody. With the Eli getting both Super Bowls, the first one he got that lucky ass catch, the craziest catch probably of all time. That's a break. That's a big break, and he really just heaved the shit up when he heaved it up. I'm just saying, Brady. It doesn't look like that for Brady because of what you just said. Because he's been on that stage more times than everybody else and had the opportunity to luck out more than anybody else.
Yeah, again, because I could flip it. I could look at like 28-3 to the Falcons, right? That was like, I'm the fucking best. And then there's things that back what he's done, right? Oldest quarterback ever to win an MVP, 40 years old, right? I don't think anyone would do that, right? Most touchdowns ever. The greatest, he has tied for most Pro Bowls ever, right? There's a lot of stuff that he has that shows that he's just a dominant player, right? He's the oldest player ever to be named to an All-Pro. So I don't know. I just think it's
seen a stat the other day. Most playoff wins for a quarterback over 35, and he has more playoff wins over 35 than a lot of other quarterbacks got in their whole career.
You know, most, and he also has the most. And this is the biggest thing. Last point on Brady: no quarterback has more starts ever than Tom Brady. So the end of this all, durability will get you where you need to go.
Yes, sir.
So let's jump to the next
That's
topic.
ability is availability.
Hey, exactly. Let's jump to the next topic. And this is just talking about maybe the next future GOAT, Pat Mahomes. Is Pat Mahomes just on the trajectory to be the best ever, or if not, what can stop him from being the best ever?
I think it's two quick, simple answers that can stop him from being the GOAT. One is injury and durability, like we talked, and two is the retirement of Andy Reid. If him and Andy Reid stick together for at least 10, for the rest of his career, 10, even 10 years, I got Pat at least winning 4, bare minimum 4. If he keep Andy and stays
So
healthy,
so Andy's 62 years old. So I'm just gonna say Andy's gonna coach till 70. Let's just say that.
yeah, at least 8, 10 more years. Shit, how old is Bill? Bill's in his 70s right now, coaching, ain't he?
No, Bill's not.
He
Bill's.
up there.
I think he. Let me see right now. 68. Yep. So he's 6 years older than Andy. So I think and what's Nick Saban? I think Nick Saban might be the oldest of the bunch.
And what's his name? Yeah,
Yeah, Nick Saban's 69.
yeah. And,
So
and, and Ty Hill and Kelsey both still young. They not going nowhere. I think he can at least rip off. Rip off. Like I said, if we wasn't if that faulty ass offsides call, the offsides on D4, and then the faulty calls in OT didn't happen, we could possibly be talking right now on
well,
Pat ripping
I
off
want
3 in a row. Pat should be ripping off
yeah,
3 in a row to me right now. That's how I feel.
no, it's definitely. And I don't want to call it faulty because he did jump off sides. I just thought it was hella funny how the Chiefs trade his ass. Like
Right
he just
after
stopped and
and
I
got
would
the
have
Super Bowl.
like that's all you had to do is not jump off sides.
Yeah.
Hey, but you know what's crazy? I don't think your Eagles would have won the Super Bowl. So you might want to bless. Thank
No,
you.
that wasn't the year. That wasn't the year. That was the year Brady beat the Rams in the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, 2017, right?
The year Brady lost to my team in the Super Bowl. That year you're referring to is the year I was talking about when he came back on the Jaguars in the AFC Championship. You remember when they had Jalen Ramsey and them boys and they was balling?
Oh yeah, dang. So the Eagles won 2016 then.
17, I believe. 2017. That was 2016-17 season.
Okay, 2017. That's when they beat the Falcons.
Oh, okay, then 18. 2017 was the year they beat the Falcons.
Yeah, so it's 2018 season. Yeah,
And I
okay.
actually believe the Jalen Ramsey game or year was actually the Falcons year. Now that I think about it, I
Yeah,
think
it was. It was.
Falcons. Yeah.
So yeah, but no, I think, yeah, I feel like I like your point, and he got to be there. But I think Pat's the type of talent where he is like a time where I can just show the fuck up and be an
But
impact player. And I think
you say that, Zay, but is Tom getting the 10? It's 9 without Bill? Maybe 2 or 3 without Bill. I don't know.
oh
Is it?
no, I would say no, and I'm gonna say this: it's very rare where we get a top generation talent with a top generation coach, and we see that we got that with Pat and Andy, we got that with Bill and Tom. Shit, we got that with Joe Montana, Bill Walsh, Mike Shanahan, John Elway, right? Michael Jordan, Phil Jackson. Like that's when we get lucky as a sports fan, where that top tier talent has a top tier coach, and to me, I don't take nothing from a quarterback from playing with a top tier coach because that the players play. That coach is just making sure the quarterback's in the best position possible. And I have a question for you, and it's something I've been seeing on Twitter that I have a problem with, and this is around Pat Mahomes.
All right, hold that question real quick, Zay. I just want to make one more point. I'll also say for coaches, I heard what you just said right there for a player having a coach. I also don't fault coaches for having elite talent because at the end of the day, I've seen a lot of teams with elite talent and they don't get it done. You still also
Freddie
got to put
Kitchens,
your players, still got to also put your players in the position to make plays. And that's
fact,
across all sports. 'Cause I know basketball is more superstar driven individual sport than football. I just think across all sports, because I hear how people always get down on Steve Kerr. He ain't really coaching. He got all that talent with Curry and the boys. But I still feel like at the end of the day, you still got to make timely decisions, work with egos and whatnot, and so on to be an elite coach.
No, that's spot on. I think basketball is more people management than actually X's and O's, right? Like, could you imagine being Steve Nash right now with the Nets? Like, that's a lot of people management. So you got to have the right individuals. So, now a great point. In football is more X's and O's. You need that leader of man. And you need that person that can scheme, that can find stuff that's not there. That like Bill Belichick's simple rule: never die for the pylon. That's probably in his 20 some years with the Patriots. He probably saved, it's probably like 15 wins right there from not losing the ball back in the end zone, right? So, but yeah, no, I spot on. And I hate when people put that on coaches as well as quarterbacks. Like, no,
You
you
need
still have to go
talent
out.
to win around you.
Yeah, think about it. We've seen 15-1 teams go to playoffs and lose, right? It doesn't matter, right? I mean, the Patriots lost to the Giants and were 16-0 in the regular season, right? They had the best coach, best quarterback, still didn't get it done. But this is a question I want to ask you, and I haven't liked what I've been seeing. I actually had some people tell me I was wrong. Stephen A said there's about 4 or 5 quarterbacks you can replace with Pat Mahomes, and the same results going to happen. And if you just watch the game, not scoreboard watch, the plays that Patrick Mahomes makes and creates, one, because he's one of the best quarterbacks ever in the pocket, best thrower of the football, and knows how to read defenses. I don't think you can just replace him with any quarterback and the same results is going to happen. Maybe one guy, maybe one, but not no Deshaun Watson, not no Josh Allen. Like this, to me, this is outrageous because to me, you're basically saying he's on the same level as a Josh Allen, Deshaun Watson. To me, it's a whole different tier. What's your thoughts?
You might hate me, Zay. I kind of agree with Stephen A on that one. And I'm not gonna say 5, probably not even 4, but I can name 3 right now off the top of my head. And I don't believe
I have a
he's
question
knocking.
before you
Hold
answer
on,
this.
go ahead.
Before you answer this, I want you to answer this question. What you're about to say. If that is true, there's about 3 quarterbacks that you'll have the same results. Why don't they trade him to one of those teams to get some picks and a quarterback? Because if you trade Pat Mahomes with Deshaun Watson right now, you're going to get some plus Deshaun. So why won't the Chiefs do that if they're going to get the same result?
Well, because at the end of the day, you're still rolling. You're still rolling the dice for one, and for two, you don't trade a generational talent. But as far as with Stephen A, I don't think he's taking anything away from Pat's talent. I think he's actually just giving a nod and tipping his hat to Kelsey and Hill's talent. And yeah, I can name 3 right now that I believe with that O line, one of the best in the league, and a top elite generational coach in Andy Reid with Kelsey and Hill, I do believe a Josh Allen, a Deshaun Watson, and right now Matthew Stafford. Those will be my 3 off the top of my head. I think I'm not gonna say do it the exact same, but they could put up numbers and win a championship with this collective talent on this Chiefs roster. I'm not saying it will look the same, but those 3 that I just named, I think could win with this roster. Yeah, like I said, I don't know about 4 or 5. Those are the 3 I could think of off the top of my head that I think can make some plays, run around back there, play a little backyard football, and throw those balls to Kelsey and Ty Hill and make some plays.
To me, it's some of the throws he makes on a consistent basis, and talk about the big moments. I know Pat's not folding in those moments, right? I know Josh. Once a game, he's gonna have a 30-yard sack. I know that's not happening with Pat, right? There's certain things that Pat does on a consistent basis that I don't see any quarterback do. And so to me, now what you want to say, you can bring up durability, right? Like, hey, he was not in the game. That Chad Henne had to come in a playoff game and win a game. So you can bring up durability. Um, I just don't see another quarterback that is good as Pat Mahomes that will consistently win. Now, we don't have enough data. Like, he's 3 years superstar. Three years starting AFC Championship, going to 2 Super Bowls. And if he wins this one, he'll have 2. So I just thought it was disrespectful towards Pat Mahomes and just trying to act like, oh, if anyone got Andy Reid, this is going to look like. No, that's not, to me. No, that's not.
I mean, shit,
That's that's
Andy has been in a Super Bowl in 4 straight NFC championships before he ever seen a Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, because he had Donovan McNabb, who's the second overall pick. Without
And what
Donovan
tier and what the
McNabb,
fuck tier are we putting Donovan McNabb in? I think he's a tier 4, maybe a tier 3 with the likes of a Big Ben and Eli and shit. But I don't even know if he's that. He's more like a tier 4.
I think he's tier 3, tier 4, just because the amount he won impacted my Pro Bowls and stuff, and he was a top pick. So I mean, he gave the Eagles the most success they ever had.
Yeah.
And so again, that was part of Andy Reid, right? And then Michael Vick as well got to the NFC Championship with him. But To me, I'm down this hill. Pat Mahomes, to me, is the one quarterback in the league where you put him on any team and they can make the playoffs. I can't say that about any other team. Because to me, it's Josh Allen. You got to think about it. Josh Allen, you can't run the same offense you're running with Pat with Josh Allen.
I think you can, Zay. You can't run the exact same offense with Deshaun because he doesn't have the arm those two do. But I think you can run the exact same offense, maybe even more quarterback run game with Josh Allen.
You do more quarterback run game. Who's more accurate?
Pat, of course.
So that's the thing though. The plays he makes to me are unbelievable. And we just took if I took Pat Mahomes' just best 20 plays and his worst plays and put that up to Josh, to me it's night and day difference. And again, Josh Allen, it's disrespectful because let's be honest, this is the first year Josh Allen took leaps and bounds to be talked about as an elite quarterback this year. Up until this year, we weren't even Pat
Yeah,
Mahomes.
because this the first year in his career where he had talent comparable to Ty Hill and Kelsey. I'm just saying, like I said, I think you're just and there's no problem with that. You're just heavily weighing into the talent of Pat without tipping your hat to Kelsey and Ty. These are all pros. We're not talking about Pro Bowl players, star players. We're talking about two superstar players in their position in their own right. The best tight end without argument, and then a top 5, maybe even a top 3 receiver on the other side.
No, Kelsey and Hill are top level players, and Pat Mahomes. Those three right there, unstoppable. But to me, part of that is they're A-level players, and past an A-level player also rises their game.
So, like I just said, Zach, if they had a 10-year career with Andy, Ty Hill, and Kelsey, you don't believe Dwat, Allen, or Matthew Stafford can get a ring? Yes or no?
No, I definitely get a ring. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying it's not looking like this.
Yeah, like I said, it probably wouldn't look like that. I just think I agree with them as far as they'll win. I don't know if people said it'll look like that.
Saying wouldn't be a difference. It'll be the same Chiefs, same Super Bowls, and to me, that's disrespectful. We need to be, again, watch the talent that we're lucky to see with Pat Mahomes, and stop trying to compare. Like there's certain players you just can't compare. There's players in my life that I've seen can't compare. I can't compare Michael Jordan. I can't compare LeBron. I can't compare Tiger Woods. I can't compare Tom Brady. And now I'm watching Pat Mahomes while I don't have anyone to compare him to. There's certain guys like, Brett Favre, little Aaron Rodgers moments, but putting this all together on an efficient basis, I've never seen. So that's just my opinion. I think he's greatness. And when you see greatness, there's certain players you can't compare. Also put Steph Curry in that greatness category. So
yeah, I think Pat is a blend of ARod and Brady. He got that ARod playmaking ability all over the field, could do whatever, and then he got that Brady as far as smart decision making in those clutch moments. Like, Pat not gonna lose it for you, same way Brady not gonna lose it for you.
Again, you casually just said that, and I agree with you. He's a mixture of Aaron Rodgers and Brady. And what we just spent 30 minutes on this pod. First of all, we debated how Aaron Rodgers is great. Like I'm not going to debate he's one of the greatest talents to ever play. Then Tom's the GOAT. Just to say you compare those two, that's like someone saying, Pat Mahomes, so and so is like if you put LeBron and Steph Curry together. That's what I mean. That's
that's what it is.
No, that's scary to me, and that's why I think it's disrespectful to compare any guy to him. Because we're not saying that with Deshaun, we're not saying that with Josh, we're not saying that with no one else. You know what I mean? To me, I look at it as like, just sit back, watch the show. I ain't comparing nobody to him until someone else at least threatens him. So
that's true. Let's rip off those last 2 questions, rapid fire, Zach. I know you gotta get out of here.
It's good. Hey man. So first one, we spent all the time, Bucs, ARod, Pat Mahomes. But the Bills, I picked the Bills partly because I thought Pat was injured, right? That he obviously was not the case at all. What do the Bills need to do to take it to the next level to compete with the Chiefs, and have a chance to go to the Super Bowl?
Bolster the defense, and not by a lot, just by a little bit, not by a lot at all. They're probably missing a piece, maybe 2, because I think the offense is fine. If any tweak on the offense, I would say is probably go get you a tight end. I like the Knox kid. He was growing on me, so you might have a guy right there with him. But so that's my only critique I could possibly say on the offensive side of the ball. But on defense, like maybe one other lockdown guy on the other side of White, maybe one more pass rusher. They're just missing one piece. They're right there, man. I definitely like this team. Diggs brought a whole different dimension to the offense and elevated Josh Allen's game. elevated Mike Beasley's game. I think he had the most yards in the slot this year from a slot receiver this year. So I think they're right there. They're right there, and they're missing a piece, maybe two on defense, I believe.
No, I agree with you. I think, and see, it's weird saying this because I think if the Bills were in the NFC, they wouldn't have changed shit but run it back. I think the NFC is an easier division, but strictly looking at they have to go through the Chiefs. Defense, 100%. All just keep adding more defensive pieces. I know it'll be tough to do. I think the Bills' offense has enough. Cause I think Josh will take another step. You could draft. They have a young receiver, Gabriel Davis, so I think could be that elite number 2 for them. Cole Beasley, one of the best slots in the game. Diggs, So I think just improve. I add a running back so they can now run the ball consistently enough, and I think that will help with controlling the clock.
Remember that back got hurt because they got two. They had three, but they really had two. The Zach Moss kid and the Singletary.
Yeah,
Neither one is great, but they're both like good, solid backs. Zach Moss was really good, but he got hurt. I think going into
yeah. But if they have a shot, like if they're going to be picking late, if Najee Harris is there, I think Najee Harris will give them another A-level player on offense, right? Because we talked about it with the Chiefs, right? They have 2 A-level players with their quarterback. I believe the Bills have 1 A-level player with their quarterback. So to me, if you can get another A-level player, whether that be a running back, tight end, a second receiver, I think will be huge. And then defense, ironically, this is what I look at their defense. I look at their defense as like a really good playmaking defense. They don't got enough speed. Like I was watching, like when Tyreek Hill ran across the field, that's the only team. I'm wrong. He's fastest player in the game, might probably be the fastest guy ever to play with the football in his hands. But the Bills, I said this earlier in the year, their defense is slow. Am I wrong there by saying that they don't have a fat like White's a really good corner, but he's not a speedster. I don't see anyone on defense with team speed.
I think he's actually the only speedster because I know High and Poyer, they're not speedster guys. They're solid, good safeties. Neither one of them is 4-4 type guys, I believe.
No, yeah. So I think that's the Bills defense and then another A-level player because or you can look at it like this, the GM. Can we create a defense that slows down Pat Mahomes? Or just we prepare for these shootouts. So I know they kicked a lot of field goals against the Chiefs. How can we make sure we're not kicking field goals and score touchdowns? Because that makes it a 1-score game late in the fourth. So, if I'm the GM, I'm looking at it like that. Like, there's no defense I think I can create unless I have the best D-line in football. Like, maybe if I had Pittsburgh's D-line, somebody like that. If I can't have that, I got to outscore you. So no, I think the Bills though they're here for a while, and it might be like the Bills might be like how the Steelers were during Tom and the Pats good run, where like we win.
You know what it is? I think Josh Allen is going to be Peyton Manning to Patrick Mahomes Brady. Patrick Mahomes Brady in this situation, I think Josh Allen will be Peyton.
I will say this: it's just me speaking into the future. The Bills will start looking over their shoulder soon because there's a young man in the AFC named Justin Herbert who I believe will be playing these big games soon. So I think so. The Bills keep doing what they're doing, but the AFC, I think Payne. It might have Payne and Big Ben. That might be Herbert and Josh. So we'll see. But I'll say this: I'm excited for the AFC young quarterbacks are loaded. It's not. We haven't talked about Joe Burrow. Still to us. We still got Dwat. The AFC young quarterbacks are loaded.
Yes, sir. And got some coming in the draft. Last question, Zay. Best landing spot for Matthew Stafford. Where you see?
It got to be the Colts, right? I mean, to me, that just perfect, the most win ready now team, and I think the Colts are going to do whatever they can to get in Matthew Stafford.
This isn't the best landing spot for him, but I think this is the team he might most likely go to because their GM is all in on trying to find a quarterback, and he likes these middle-aged guys and getting them in the middle of their career. The Denver Broncos. I think that might be the team that actually gets him. But I think the 2 best landing spots is really 3. I like San Francisco, the Colts, or I like the Saints. I like him with Drew. I like him with Sean replacing Drew.
No, I think Saints would be nice too. I'm really curious, and especially with Drew. I mean, I think it's Sean. Like, I wonder if Sean has to be thinking. I wonder what this offense will look like with a quarterback that can push the ball down the field. Now, I'm really curious to see what they're going to do with Jameis. Right? Does Sean believe he fixed Jameis, or is that just a Teddy Bridgewater fix up? I don't know. We'll see. But I think I would love to see him with the Colts. I think Niners would be a good fit for him. The only reason I feel like the Niners aren't going to pull the trigger One, I think there's the Colts and maybe Saints, to your point, are going to be more aggressive in trading because they don't have quarterbacks on their roster like in this SF does. And also, secondly, I don't think far as the value of what Stafford's going to cost, I think it might be too much for SF because they're going to have to give over a high pick. So, and that's just to seeing what they've been doing. They're not in the business of trading away a lot for picks. I mean, for players, or we haven't seen that with the Niners. Last question is Aaron with the Packers next year?
I believe he runs it back mainly for the contract, and then secondly because if we look at the landscape of the NFL, where else can he go where you're like they can win now and they're at least in the NFC Championship? Because he just went to 2 back-to-back NFC Championships, 2 back-to-back 13-3 seasons. Unless you can show me somewhere else. Of course, the Packers shouldn't want to let him go. It's more so ARod should want to leave more than them wanting to let him go. So it's more so we're doing a hypothetical of where ARod would like to go. But yeah, like I said, I just don't really see any destination across the landscape in the NFL that would put them in a favorable position like the Packers are right now.
No, I agree. I'm gonna say this is prediction. My last point. I think Aaron Rodgers and Deshaun Watson still stay on their same teams. Just because I can't see owners letting that type of talent walk out the building at quarterback. You don't see that. Like Drew Brees.
I think Dwat might have a higher chance of leaving than ARod. I'll say that.
Yeah, if I gave a percentage, I would say Deshaun Watson 35 to 40% chance of leaving. Aaron Rodgers, I put 15% or below.
Yes, sir.
But all right, man. Oh yeah, I gotta get to this meeting.
All good, man. That's all we got. Super Bowl in 2 weeks, man. We'll be right back at you next week with our Super Bowl picks.
Yes, sir. And before we go, real quick, make sure everyone I wish D-Lane a happy birthday. His birthday just passed this weekend, so
appreciate you, brother. Have a good one, man. Stay safe, Zach.
Yes, sir.
Still went for it. It's time to change the club.